welcome back to the show. We have been talking about a wonderful upcoming series. It's called Prevention to Prosecution, the Many Faces of Abuse. And there are so many wonderful local people who have great expertise that are sharing that with the community over a kind of a long period of time, right, Christine?
Yes,
Over
ma'am.
across the months in the fall. But Christine Schroeder Morin, who is with the Friends for Life, she's their Lifelines program person, has come up with this great series to help people understand how to prevent abuse. It's much better to prevent someone becoming a victim than to have to fix the aftermath, right?
That's true. Very true.
So, coming up on the 7th of August is a big roundtable panel discussion.
Communities invited.
Everybody can come. This is
Yep.
going to be at the Hot Cog Building at 11:30. Lunch is provided. I mean, it's going to be awesome. And we've been talking over the weeks about the great people who are going to be sharing. And we have two of them with us today. We have wonderful Bryan Calvert, who is First Assistant District Attorney with the McLennan County DA's office, and Tracy Viladevail, who is a crime victims assistance specialist. Is that your
Coordinator.
coordinator? Okay,
Yes.
that's good. Now you're going to be presenting, Tracy, on October 22nd. So mark your calendars. And Ryan, yours is going to be November 20th, so a little further on into the fall. But you'll all be there on August 7th, just available to kind of give a brief little synopsis of what you'll be talking about so folks can say, yeah, I got a question about that. So they can come back, right? So good to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you. It's
for
good to be here.
taking your time to do this. I mean, isn't that important, Christine, for them to share? I mean, you got a busy job, Ryan. I know both of you.
Yeah.
Within the DA's office.
We do.
Unfortunately,
We do.
yes.
Yeah.
No, it's busyness is a nice problem to have.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't. Well, because that means we've gone through the process. We've gotten to the point where justice is hopefully going to be served.
Well, any DA's office is reactive as opposed to proactive for the most part. This is not Minority Report. We can't be involved unless a crime has already happened, and then our job is to address that. But from a prosecutor's perspective, to Christine's point, the way prosecutors prevent crime is by punishing those who have already committed a crime and hopefully stopping them from ever doing it again. So that's the objective.
Yeah. And Tracy, you deal with the victims, right?
I do, and I would say that justice looks very different for people depending on where they come from and what their beliefs are and what they're hoping for.
Yeah, but when there's a loved one who's been taken advantage of, I mean that's really kind of the overlying issue throughout
Right.
this whole series, right,
Right,
Christine?
right. Last year, the series was entirely focused on financial abuses, scam, fraud, and exploitation.
Ah,
And I realized through my role at Friends for Life that there are more abuses even as people are aging over 50. Some people unfortunately consider over 50 elderly. So, which is kind of offensive. But
I got a story about that. I'll share another time in the newsroom in a news meeting. It was like somebody referred to a 50, and my co-anchor and I looked at each other and went, "Really? Elderly? Okay."
right? So, but I'm finding this to be true. A lot of people do. So, there are more and more other forms of abuse as well.
Yeah.
Whether it be domestic violence or stalking and, rape and other violent crimes and, all kinds of other things. And of course, and I know we've talked about this in some of the other shows as well, and that all of the things that people report and may or may not get to the DA's office and to folks that work with Tracy over there in Crime Victims Assistance, that's only a small portion of what's actually going on, those that are actually reported.
That's what's kind of horrifying when you think about it. Tracy, let's talk about your role in all this. So when do you come in contact with the victim at first?
So usually an investigation is done by the local police department or law enforcement, and then once they make an arrest, then they send the case over to our office to review for prosecution. So many times victims, some may start calling at that point before I've even seen a report. And there are some basic things and services that we can provide at that point without knowing too much. We can refer them for counseling. We can tell them about bond conditions for their safety, do some safety planning, things like that. And then once the case is received, we'll get it, and we usually will reach out and call the victim and sort of explain the process and make sure they understand what services are available to them.
Yeah, education is so important
It is.
at that point because they've maybe never been through anything like
Yes,
that
and
before,
I
and it's
think
kind of in shock, maybe.
yes, and a lot of it is just letting them know, like, be patient. It's going to be a really long process, but we're going to do our best to be here for you. You won't hear from us all the time, but we want to help you through the process. But it can take, I think it's really important to tell them early on, it's going to be a while. It may be 2 years before a case goes to trial, and that's, in a good 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it takes a really long time. And so what the hope is that they get stronger during those 2 years while they're waiting. And, hopefully, I think when you set that expectation in the beginning, it definitely makes it easier for them as they're going through this.
Yeah, to understand how that process works.
Yes, and making sure that maybe they follow up with some of those referrals to counseling or through the Crime Victims Compensation Program that's available to them through the Attorney General.
I know you can't talk about specific cases or people, but does somebody find that really in a bad way and benefited from those kind of helps?
I think lots of victims. Our advocacy center is wonderful.
Yeah.
And the family abuse center is great. So a lot of our victims early on, they may initiate and start counseling with some of these programs. And many of ours, like I have a case pending right now, and she's still in counseling. And it's been very beneficial because now the time has come where she needs to get herself prepared for a trial. And, that knowledge and the time that she spent with a therapist has really helped her do that.
Yeah, now your kind of area focuses on sexual assault crimes, right?
Well, I work in the Crimes Against Children's
Oh,
division
well,
at this point, but yes.
That tends to be, a lot of what that is.
It does.
But yeah, that's got to be so hard to see, knowing ahead of time that they're going to have to get on the stand
Yes.
and all these people in the courtroom and all that.
Yes, but you would be surprised how resilient, these children can be, these teenagers can be,
Yeah.
and even adults.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's easier for the younger ones than it is the older ones because, maybe they don't have as much life experience or don't really know what to expect. But, we try to bring everyone in ahead of time, and we take them over to the courtroom and we show them where to sit and where everyone else will be sitting. And we give them a chance to speak in the microphone and just hopefully help them get acclimated and know what to expect before we go in.
Familiarity has got to
Yes.
help
Yes.
a lot in that case. Ryan, from the DA's office standpoint, though, Tracy mentions how long it takes. Is there anything to shorten that, or it just takes as long as it takes?
It takes as long as it takes, and I think part of the problem stems from expectations that people get from watching TV. They watch Law and Order, and on Law and Order, if a crime happens Friday night, Monday morning, they're in court knocking this thing out, and it's like, well, a couple of years in between Friday night and Monday morning,
Yeah.
and then it's closer to reality.
And so, why does it take that long?
So the answer, I got a lawyer answer for you. Okay,
Okay, fine.
It depends. It depends, and part of why it can take so long depends on whether the perpetrator is in jail awaiting trial or is out on bond awaiting trial. So on any given Monday at the courthouse, any of our felony courts might have 100 cases that are set for trial that Monday. Obviously, you can only do one at a time. And so those cases are ranked in what I refer to sometimes as a batting order, like this case is number 1, this case is number 2, and so on. And the way that order is structured is the first people in line are defendants who are in jail, meaning they can't afford to bond out while their case is pending. And so if you're in jail and you have been in jail the longest of anybody on that docket waiting for your trial, you're number 1. The person who's been in jail second longest is number 2, and so on. So you got to get through the jail people before you ever even touch the bond people. And of the bond people, it's strictly by age of case. So if you are on bond and you have a new case that just got charged, it's going to be a long time before you have a realistic trial date. And so that can eat up a whole bunch of time. And that's okay. It's not, it's really better that it takes some time, because we're talking about people's lives, including perpetrators, right? And so the one
Sure.
thing we don't ever want to be is wrong about charging somebody or wrong about convicting somebody. And so when we go into a courtroom to prosecute a case, we want to be confident that that case has been investigated the right way and has been put together by a team of prosecutors the right way, and that takes time. And frankly, has been worked on by a competent defense lawyer the right way. We don't want to take advantage of any defendant who maybe doesn't have an effective lawyer. We want to do the right things to the right people the right way within the criminal justice system, and that does take time to accomplish.
Well, let's do a little 101, Justice 101. So walk us through the process. Somebody's been charged. Where does the grand jury figure in?
Sure. So in Texas, is unique among most states in the country in this regard. In Texas, for the most part, anyone who is charged with a felony, is going to go through, the case is going to go through the grand jury process. So the way in Texas we formally charge defendants with felony crimes is through a grand jury. And a grand jury is just 12 people. They are selected in much the same way trial juries are, but they serve typically for 3 months at a time. Our grand jury meets every other Thursday, and a grand jury will hear maybe up to 100 to 150 cases per session per Thursday. So you're talking about very brief
I know.
presentations where they just receive sort of a brief synopsis of here's what happened in this case. Sometimes witnesses testify, but that's pretty rare. Usually it's just prosecutors saying here's what happened in this
Yeah,
case.
I thought it was just going to be
Yeah,
prosecutors.
and so
Pushing for that jury to go, yes, we're going to send that person to trial.
or no, we're not. Right,
Or no, we're not.
Right, because sometimes that's the direction the prosecutors are asking the grand jury to go.
Yeah.
But there's 12 grand jurors. At least 9 have to vote to what the law calls indict or charge
Right.
that individual. And so if 9 or more grand jurors vote yes, we feel like there's sufficient evidence to charge that individual with a crime, then the grand jury issues what's called an indictment, which is just a piece of paper charging that individual with a crime. The case then gets assigned to a court. And here in McLennan County, we have 2 full-time felony courts, plus some other courts that also handle some felony cases. But the 19th District Court and the 54th District Court here in McLennan County are full-time felony criminal courtrooms. So the case randomly gets assigned to one of those 2 courts, and at that point it lands on the desk of a trial prosecutor. The trial prosecutor will review that case, and the first thing you have to do as a prosecutor is evaluate the case and make what is called a plea bargain offer. And that's something.
Oh, that's right off the top.
Right,
huh?
and that's
Ah.
something that I will talk about a lot in my session through this program, because punishment and how punishment decisions are made, how plea offers are made, is vastly misunderstood by the public. But pleas and plea agreements and resolving cases through pleas is completely necessary. If we didn't do that, the entire system would
Yeah.
grind to a halt. Here we just
Yeah.
talked about it. In McLennan County, we have two felony criminal courts. Well, our office takes in around 4,000 cases a year.
Oh, my goodness.
And so obviously there's only so many weeks in a year. We only have maybe 40 or so weeks throughout a calendar year that each of those courts can try cases. So you're looking at a maximum possibility of 70 to 80 felony jury trials in a year, when you're taking in thousands of felonies a year. And so if you don't resolve most of those cases through a plea,
Yeah.
your backlog is just going to grow exponentially. And so more than 90% of our cases are sort of calculating, okay, here's what I think would likely happen punishment-wise if this case goes to trial. So I'm going to try to offer, in terms of a plea bargain, a little bit less than what I think would happen at trial,
Right.
and see if the defendant takes it. And then it's the defendant's choice. I'm either going to
Right.
take the offer or not. And if the choice is not, then we're on the road to a trial. So.
Oh, it's fascinating. I mean, and it's stuff that, as you say, there's a lot of misunderstanding. So, so if of that grand jury process, if only 8 say, then that person is no bill.
No
Is
bill.
That,
That's
the
correct.
term.
If 8 or fewer grand jurors do not vote to indict, then it's called a no bill, and that
They're
ends the case.
free to go, but that doesn't necessarily mean they didn't do it, right? I don't know.
Completely, and that's another misconception that the public has about the criminal justice system in general. A lot of times, we, as criminal justice professionals and juries in a criminal courtroom, do not decide, did the defendant commit this crime, or did they not commit the crime? That is not the question that is answered in a courtroom. The question that is answered in a courtroom is, does the evidence presented by the state, we are the state, does the state's evidence prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the person on trial committed this crime, yes or no? That is not the same thing as, is this person factually guilty or factually innocent?
Yeah.
There's many situations where everybody knows a person did something, but we just don't have enough evidence to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt in a courtroom. And that happens a lot. And so that's really what a jury is. A jury is not an arbiter of, did this person commit the crime or not? A jury exists as remember, we all went to middle school social studies, right? And we learned about our government as a system of checks and balances. A jury is a check on me.
Yeah.
I am the government, and if I have charged you with a crime, that means I, the government, have already decided or already believed that you are guilty of a crime, and I want to punish you. But if you won't plead guilty, you can't be punished unless a jury decides beyond a reasonable doubt that I'm right. And so that's really what we do.
So the burden of proof is on the
100%
state.
on the state.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah, so many other questions. I'm fascinated about all this, and we're going to take a quick break. Though when we come back, ask you some more specific questions about your different programs you're going to be presenting,
And Tracy's going to sing.
and the prevention to prosecution, the many faces of abuse. Stay with us.
This is the Sonos Arc Ultra.
And this is what you need to know about. It represents one of the easiest ways to get into high quality home cinema without loads of cables and faffing around. And that's because the Arc Ultra provides full Dolby Atmos without any rear speakers thanks to its sound motion technology. And Sonos is actually calling sound motion one of the most significant breakthroughs in audio engineering in nearly 100 years. It's an amazing setup, it sounds absolutely fantastic. I love the absence of fat. If you're a Sonos person, there's a reason you're watching this video.
There is so much to understand about the legal process, whether you're a victim seeking justice or you know someone who finds themselves on the other side of the law. Coming up a little later in the show, we will be hearing about the Women of Distinction Big Hat Brunch. That's coming up on August 13th. Stay with us.
Let's unbox the all-new Walking Pad X21. It is the hottest thing on the fitness market right now. Whew. I like it. I like it a lot. Well done, Walking Pad. So after using the Walking Pad, I absolutely loved it. For the price, I adore it. I highly recommend it.
And we're back with Tracy Viladevail and the wonderful Bryan Calvert, who is First Assistant DA with the McLennan County District Attorney Office. And we're talking about the law, and I just got through jury duty. And so it's very fresh on my mind being called as a part of the jury pool. I was not placed on the jury. But, you know, it's important when you get that notice, and I griped about it to plenty of people. I don't want to spend all day doing this, but it is important to do that because you guys can't do your job if
That's right.
people like me don't show up
That's
on
exactly
Monday
right.
morning at 8:30.
That's right.
And there are very few times as citizens in this state and in this country where we are asked to affirmatively do something by our government other than pay taxes. And there's jury duty is really the only instance where the government asks us to take some action, go and do something. We do not have a draft. There's no compulsory military service. That is the one thing that citizens of this state and citizens of this country are asked to do. And your point is exactly right. We cannot do what we do. We cannot administer justice in our communities and in our states unless jurors show up and fulfill that duty. It is tremendously important. And anybody who is either a victim of a crime or finds themselves or someone they care about charged with a crime, if that was you that was a victim, or somebody you care about that was a victim, or somebody that you care about that was a defendant, you would certainly want people to show up so that person can have their day in court. And so it's important for everybody to fulfill that obligation.
Yeah, and a shout out to Judge Thomas West, who I've served in a jury pool before, not called to be on the jury, but I got a letter from him yesterday telling me what happened with the case that we were hearing about. We didn't hear a lot of details, which we didn't need to. But yeah, I thought that was really nice that he let us all know, well, this is how this worked
Well, I'm sure you're curious after spending all day hearing, little bits and pieces.
Yeah, well, right. Just, and just rejoicing. Didn't get picked. Anyway, that being said, we had gotten permission with the powers that be in the Alico building to have your therapy dog come up. And so tell me a little bit about it. And we might see our therapy dog named Hope that was going to be named Savage.
That's
Came to us as savage.
when she was a baby and she was born, before we got her, my understanding is her birth name was Savage.
Yes.
Which I thought that would be funny to leave her name.
Oh, yeah. Meet our therapy
the
dog.
victim therapy dog Savage. I thought that would be funny, but I was overruled on that, and so now her name is Hope. But,
Okay, so tell me about
So
our
we got her
victim
in
dog.
October,
Yeah.
and it was a surprise to me. I was gone to my daughter's wedding in Italy at the time, and when
Oh,
I
wow.
came back, there was a therapy dog, and so
Well,
it all came about really quickly. But I've known Sybil for a long time, and I've known that she's always wanted one. So she came to us in October. She's still in her training program. She comes
What
to
kind
the
of
office.
training? What do they
Oh,
do
it's
for it,
pretty
as opposed to
intense.
like an
it's-
assistance dog, or a blind? The dogs for the blind. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, so I know she had to go away to a training for a good week where I guess she learned a lot of hands-on, the dog without Sybil, just the dog had to go by itself and get her training. And then Sybil follows up a couple of times a month where she and Hope do the training together. Sometimes they do it on the internet. Sometimes she has to drive to Rockwall, I believe,
Really?
and has sessions there. Yeah, it's more intense than you think it would be. But Hope brings us so much joy. She hangs out at the office almost every day. I told Sybil just today, and I didn't know we were going to talk about Hope. I'm like, I brought her over because I had some people that I wanted Hope to meet in the office. And I said, Hope, come. And it's just so fun to see her learning these commands. And she came and she met with our people, and then she knows just what to do.
Yeah.
So she really is learning. But I think before we can officially, do anything like in the courtroom, she has to complete her training. I think you might have to be some special permission from
So what does she do
the
in the
courthouse.
courtroom?
Well, if she makes it to the courtroom, mostly her job is to just bring people joy and just, she'll have a
Calm
calming
people
effect.
down, right?
Yeah, and be
Particularly
able
for
to
children.
sit
Yeah, right.
still and, let the children pet or the adults pet. And
Yeah, because a lot of assistance dogs, they do not want you touching them.
no, this
You're
one,
not,
yeah, and she's
so that's
just,
different.
she's just there to make you happy, and
Okay.
she really does do that. She's so cute.
And what breed is this dog?
she's a doodle.
Yeah, a Labradoodle,
So
right?
she's pretty good size. And yeah, to your question in the courtroom, a dog, judges have authority to make any what the code, what the law calls reasonable accommodations for witnesses and victims in particular, particularly child victims, if they're having to testify in court, to make them as comfortable as reasonably possible. And the law doesn't specifically say, judges, you will do this, that, or the other, but they give them pretty broad discretion. And so having a therapy animal is one thing that a judge could allow if a child victim, for example, is going to have to testify and it's going to be tough. Typically, the way that would work is the dog, if the witness is on the witness stand, the dog would usually be on the stand, kind of at the witness's feet, and the jury may not even know the dog is there. You can't see him, but the dog's just there, like Tracy said, just to help people relax and to help people feel a little bit more comfortable, and that's what. It's funny, when we got Hope, I think she'd been in the office for maybe a week. I mean, it was just a matter of just a few days, and some of our child abuse prosecutors were meeting with a young woman who was a victim. She'd been a victim as a younger child. When they were talking to her, she was, I think, in her mid to late teens, and they're talking about some hard things with her, and this kid just out of the clear blue sky asked him, she was emotional and she was upset, and she said, "Do y'all have a therapy dog?" And Will Hicks and Jessica Washington were the prosecutors, and they were like, "As a matter of fact, we do. Stand by." And they ran down the hall, and that was Hope's first victim that she got to work with, and so that was really fun. It felt like a little bit of a divine providence for her to be there and help some kids through some very hard things. So
Yeah, I've asked a lot of these wonderful helper people that you found. I mean, you guys have got specific expertise in areas that help victims. How do you take care of yourself? I mean, I know you hear stories that just make you want to go home and cry. What do you do about that yourself? Do you have a therapy dog?
I do not have a therapy dog. I like to travel. I like
Yeah.
to spend time with my friends.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I guess over the years you learn that you really have to make yourself, like when you leave work, you really need to figure out a way to leave it at work because you got to show back up the next day and do it all over again. So it's I mean, it's hard. I think that you get better at it as you've been doing it for longer, but it's important to take care of yourself and doing the things you enjoy, like spending time with friends or taking a vacation or even just being lazy on the weekend just to relax and rest. So,
I like the term self-care.
yes, self-care, that's a good one.
When did you know this was the kind of work you wanted to do? How did you get to this?
It's the first in
Really?
Houston, of all places.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I did that for almost 10 years. And
My goodness.
my husband and I came back to Waco, which is where I'm from. And I just thought that that's what I would do again because that's what I knew how to do after college.
Yeah.
And they were having like a hiring freeze or something. And so I went to work at the Family Abuse Center and I was a legal advocate for about a year and a half. And so sometimes the advocates work close with some of the people that work at the district attorney's office, and I got to know a lot of them. And so then that position came available, and it was so I used to work as a probation officer. I think it's your job to help people be successful while they're on probation.
Right. You
know,
don't
and-
want them to
and
come back.
You don't. And back
No.
in those days, it was a long time ago. I think it's different now, but there wasn't, we weren't really allowed to communicate with victims or talk to victims. You were really, your focus was on the offender. So for me, it was a real eye opener when I went to the Family Abuse Center, and now I'm seeing things from a whole different side. And I got this job in 2002, and I've been here ever since. And
Oh my goodness.
I haven't ever wanted to leave.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
hope they'll
that's,
let me stay.
that's wonderful. Okay, Ryan, what about you? When did you know, first of all, you want to go to law school, but that you wanted to be a prosecutor, not a defense attorney?
Well, I can't do math, so so there's
I bet you have to do some math.
no, like I can count from 0 to 99, and just that's about the extent of it. No, so I am the youngest of 3 kids in my family, and all 3 of us became prosecutors. And so
Really?
yeah, and so my older brother and my older sister were and remain who I want to be when I grow up.
Aw.
And so, and we're spread out. My brother's 10 years older than me. My sister is about 6.5 years older than me. And so I saw them do it. And so from the time I was, 14, 15 years old, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I was like, because they are my heroes, and I saw them go into that profession. And I just thought it was so cool to, be the person who gets to hold others accountable for victimizing folks in the community. What an awesome and responsibility that is, and what a privilege it is to get to do that. And so I've never really, in a meaningful way, wanted to do anything else. If I was not a prosecutor, I would not be practicing law. I have no interest in doing civil stuff or
Right, and there's a need for attorneys that know how to do all that stuff. I mean,
no,
you gotta have that.
no, there are, and I'm not begrudging my civil brethren or my criminal defense friends. I've got a lot of good friends who are criminal defense lawyers, and I believe very fervently in our system and in the Constitution, which says that every person charged with a crime is entitled to effective assistance of counsel.
Yeah.
But the Constitution doesn't say that I have to be the one to give it to them.
It doesn't say it. It needs
And
to
so
be me.
I would much rather be on the side of holding people accountable for creating victims. I just victim crimes are that's a passion of mine, and holding those folks accountable. I love that, and there's really nothing else within the law that I would want to do.
And Ron's a great teacher too for
Yes,
all of
I
our
can tell
prosecutors.
the
and
way he's
yes.
explained things
Yes.
so well. I mean, that was something that I noticed when I was going through voir dire with the jury selection process, how the prosecutor was so clear in explaining what they had to do, and then the defense attorney had his opportunity to explain what he hoped we wouldn't do, or anyway, it was an experience.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there was a lot going
in
on.
jury selection. So jury selection is one of the things that I teach. I teach jury selection at the Baylor Law School.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I actually wrote a book on it, and so that's a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and it is also something that the audience, the jury panel, most of the time doesn't really see and doesn't really have an understanding of exactly what all is going on behind the scenes
Right.
and why certain questions are being asked. If you watch jury selection in TV shows and in movies, so in my opinion, the best lawyer movie ever made is My Cousin Vinny, and
Me too.
and my favorite scene in that movie is the jury selection scene, which that movie in a general sense gets a lot of things really right.
Yeah.
What they got hilariously wrong is the jury selection scene, but it's my favorite scene because the prosecutor gets up and he's asking a lady on the panel how she would feel about imposing a death sentence on somebody, and the lady says, well, I think that decision should be left up to the victim's family rather than the courts. And the prosecutor goes, well, the two defendants in this case are charged with robbing a convenience store and then, in a most cowardly fashion, shooting the clerk in the back. Now, if sufficient evidence is shown to prove these facts, do you think you could? And she cuts him off and says, fry him. and he looks at the judge and goes, she'll do. That makes for great entertainment, but that's not reality.
No.
So if you come in as a member of a jury pool or jury panel on a criminal case in Texas, the lawyers are not allowed to get up and overtly tell the panel, here's what the case is, here's what the facts are. And so if you come to jury selection and it seems to you that the lawyers are speaking to you in very broad terms or in hypothetical terms, it's because that's exactly what the law requires them to do at that phase of the trial. And so as a trial advocate, as a trial lawyer, part of your job in jury selection is to craft questions in a way and get members of the jury panel talking in a way that parallel the facts of the case so that you can apply those things later in things like closing argument without just directly going, okay, here's what you're gonna see in the case, because you can't do that.
No. Right. Well, I just find this all so fascinating because I just went through this, and it had been many years prior to that. But this is exciting because on October 22nd, Tracy, is when you're going to be doing your thing, and your program. What is the name of your program? Or is this the program we're still working on the name?
We have the name.
Okay, what is the name?
The name is Helping in a Healthy Way.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
She says, okay, I'll go with that. Helping in a healthy way. And
This
this will
is kind of a group effort with Crime Victims Assistance.
That's okay,
So
and
I
that's
wanted to call
good.
it Viladevail World Tour 2025.
Yeah, that
but,
sounds good.
yeah.
with Savage.
Oh.
These
with
will all
Savage,
Yes,
happen at
Christine.
the Hot Cock Building on New Road at 11:30, and you've got lunch provided. Tell them who's providing the lunch.
Right at Home Care is providing lunch for every single program,
Okay.
as well as the door prize.
All right, and Ryan, yours will be November 20th, a little further into the fall, and it is called Crime to Punishment. And I guess you're just going to cover all these bases. I think it's wonderful because, as you say, there's a lot of misunderstanding about the whole process unless you get to sit in a courtroom and maybe be in a jury pool and see it firsthand.
That's right. I talk about punishment and how punishment decisions are made. We do a lot of exercises in my presentation where I put the audience in the shoes of a prosecutor. It's funny because one of the most common criticisms we get as prosecutors from members of the public is I can't believe you gave X defendant only this number of years or
Right.
probation or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when we do programs like this one and we start putting audience members in the shoes of prosecutors and having them make some of the decisions that our people make every day. It is amazing how fast those same people are like, oh, that guy needs probation. And that's the whole point. That's the reason we're so delighted to do programs like this, because the criminal justice system is something that affects all of us in the community, whether you realize it does or not. And so I think it's an important thing for people to have at least a baseline understanding of how things work and how decisions are made. And so, yeah, we have a good time, and you will come away with an understanding of why you might see a headline of two people who are convicted of the same legal crime and get vastly different sentences. You're going to understand that if you come to this program.
That is something people puzzle about. But again, on August 7th, both of you and several other wonderful people are going to be together in a big panel discussion from about an hour and a half or so, and just sort of give a brief synopsis of what you'll be doing and the dates they'll be doing it. And this is a massive undertaking you've taken, Christine, but I appreciate what you're doing for the community and how folks are going to be.
We are
helped
very
with
blessed in our community to have so many wonderful experts serving in the ways that they do serve. And so I have enjoyed that last year and so excited to have those that are coming back, which is everybody, and doing this again this year, and then adding even some more experts. So
Yeah, it's going to be wonderful.
it is.
Thank you all.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you
so
And
much
so
for
come
having
back
us.
again next year. We'll do it all over again.
We'll do it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, stay with us. We've got more show ahead.
Escape into fitness with the Schwinn IC4 bike, providing a premium, heart-pumping indoor cycling experience that combines digital connectivity with superior Schwinn quality. The IC4's smooth, quiet ride features magnetic resistance with 100 micro-adjustable resistance levels. Escape the everyday with the Schwinn IC4 bike, your ticket to a life well lived.
Stay with us. Elizabeth Riley has your Act Locally news. And a little later, we'll be hearing from Autumn Outlaw and Heaven Lee about the Women of Distinction Big Hat Brunch. That's coming up in Waco on August 13th. Stay with us.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey, past, present, and future. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence, elevate creativity, and honor what matters most. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Don't need no rich boy to buy me useless things. Bad boy to get me hooked on cigarette dreams. That just ain't what I need. Call me crazy, but I know what I like. Said yes nicely, tell you he saw that I was drowned, attack, an attacker. If I was getting much, carry me home. If I had been drugged, I need a man. Who's patient, calls me daily, calms me down when I'm a little too crazy. Call me what you wish, I know what I want. A man who's strong. Don't need no lover boy to kiss me all the time. Friend boy to keep me up at night. I need my beauty sleep. Call me crazy, but I know what I like. Said yes nicely, tell you that I need a man who could pull me from a burning building, drag me from the lake. If he saw that I was drowned, attack, an attacker. If I was getting much, carry me home. If I had been drugged, I need a man who's patient, calls me daily, calms me down when I'm a little too crazy. Call me what you wish, I know what I want. A man who's strong. Oh, 5, 4, 6, 3, doesn't matter much to me, long as those muscles are here for emergencies. Call me crazy, but at least I won't die with this guy who could pull me from a burning building, drag me from the lake. If he saw that I was drowning, attack, an attacker. If I was getting much, carry me home. If I had been drugged, I need a man who's patient, calls me daily, calms me down when I'm a little too crazy. Call me what you wish, a man who's strong. Oh, call me what you wish, I know what I want. A man who's strong.
Concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns and expand access to pet care. Book your first appointment today.
With over 50 years in the industry, Arriva Hospitality Group has been delighting guests with unforgettable experiences across Mexico. Our investors enjoy trust and impressive returns, while our guests, whether on vacation or business, keep coming back for more fun and memories. At Arriva Hospitality Group, we are looking for investors who share our dream of making people happy while our investments grow. Take a closer look at arrivahotels.mx.
I just got my Colgate Advanced LED Whitening Treatment in the mail, and I am very excited to have dramatically whiter teeth in just 10 days. My teeth are going to be 6 shades whiter. The treatment is enamel safe and hassle-free. It's even designed for my sensitive teeth. Let's open it up. Inside we have the blue light whitening device. It's a charger for after each treatment as well. There's a full 10-day supply, and it looks easy to apply. Order yours today at shop.colgate.com.
Hi, my name's Erica, and today I'm going to be taking you through my skincare routine using the which is really good for dry and dehydrated skin like myself. It's packed with 2 types of hyaluronic acid and fermented sea kelp to reduce redness and irritation, which I experience daily. So that's it. It's so quick and so easy, and my skin feels so dewy and so hydrated.
And welcome back to the show. You know, the Women of Distinction Big Hat Brunch is right around the corner, coming up on August 13th from 11 to 1 at Baylor's Cashin Building. And I'm so happy to have Autumn Outlaw here with us and Heaven Lee, who, of course, Heaven is, you're the Esther's Closet Coordinator for the Syntax African American Chamber of Commerce. And Autumn, we were just with the other day at the Dr. Pepper Museum. Of course, that's your thing now, helping to coordinate the marketing and programs and things like that. That was loads of fun, but I did not know at the time that you were going to be the keynote speaker of the Big Hat Lunch.
I am, yeah. I'm very honored to be asked to be part of it. So I just can't wait. I'm really excited.
Well, I mean, thank you, Heaven, for bringing the hats.
Of
mean, these
course.
are, it is just a wonderful opportunity to dress up and play lady, I like to say.
There you go. I like it.
And, of course, that's really what Esther's Closet is all about, so really, in a word.
Yes.
Helping women to get that professional wardrobe they need.
Learning to dress for success.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. How long have you been with Esther's
It's
Closet?
been a little over 4 years now. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, Rachel Pate, my
Before me.
hero. My hero.
Yes, me
I
too.
mean, of course, this is a ministry, though, that has really changed lives, helped to change lives. You want to talk about that?
For sure. So Esther's Closet has started out as just a clothing program for women, making sure that they had the necessities to go into work and be taken seriously. I'll say that Miss Levita Brown did an excellent job with her founding board members to ensure that these ladies were dressed for success and ready to go into the workplace. And blazers, skirts, heels, whatever they needed, they were provided. And so since then, we've really tried to transform the program and make sure while we have the clothes, we're also making sure that they have the workforce readiness skills to go into those jobs and be successful.
Well, I'm so glad that you said that. I was talking to someone not too long ago, and he said, I just wish somebody would tell these young people how to present themselves in an interview, how to dress for an interview. I mean, he specifically said.
It's not as rare as you would think, actually. That's what I hear from employers, like being timely, learning how to communicate, showing up on time. Things that we think that people would know aren't being taught.
Not good. Well, Autumn, of course, your role as a keynote speaker, you're going to talk about leadership, right?
I am, yes. So the way I kind of got pulled in is I do a dress a day in May where I wear.
I know you've been. How many years have you been doing that?
I completed 15 years this May of wearing a
Is it
dress.
because I've done it
in May.
before, but
Yes.
of course I was working and yeah,
Yeah.
I was when I was at the TV station and and I take pictures and.
It's such a fun.
It's very fun.
It started off with a few of us at work. We worked at a college, and it was a little more casual. And a friend of mine's like, I have all these dresses from going to baby showers and wedding showers. We were younger, and I don't really wear them. And so it's like, let's just make a reason to dress up. So we started wearing dresses to work each day in May, kind of like a reason to dress up a little bit more than normal. And we have friends involved. It's like, oh, look at that outfit. I like how you put that belt with that and shoes. So it became an opportunity to really kind of, come together and celebrate dressing up. And so that group has grown, and so I love to thrift, I always have, and so I grew up going to garage sales with my grandmother and my mom and my aunt. We go to thrift shops, and my cousins and sister, and so I've always been thrifty, even when thrifting wasn't cool. I feel like I've embraced it, but I love dressing up, and so kind of being part of this, it makes sense. It's women who maybe haven't been taught or don't know, or they feel like they don't have the means to go and buy a new wardrobe, but like I feel like I'm a good example of you don't have to have a lot of money to do that. I still, if I can go buy things, but I still love to thrift. It's the creativity, it's the challenge. But I know that some people don't have, they don't have means to do that. So I think showing them that you can go to someone like Esther's Closet, have someone show you through, what they have available, how to put outfits together and feel so much better. I mean, that the way you present yourself is how you feel inside too. So I'm excited to talk about that component of leadership, of like showing up and being prepared, looking the part, and then kind of moving forward within that.
Yeah, well, really, clothes do kind of make you. I mean, you behave according to how you're dressed.
Yes,
Dress
I
how you
think.
feel.
I mean,
Feel how you
okay,
dress.
I'm going to get on a soapbox. What is it with wearing pajamas everywhere out in public? Tell me that. I mean, it's bad enough when you're at like a La Quinta or whatever, and you go down to breakfast, people are coming down in their pajamas to get their breakfast. I'm like, no.
And society has really accepted some of those things as norms, and it's unfortunate because I really to me, I love the opportunity to dress up and put my best foot forward and to be able to show that. And it's people, you certainly, again, you feel that when you walk in a room when you're dressed up, or even just when you're appropriately dressed for a position, and people interact with you different. You know, it's one of those things that when people see first, the first impression.
First impressions are everything, and we truly try to preach that to our clients.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. That's your one chance to make a first impression is on that first impression. Well, but you've also got a panel discussion. Yeah. Tell me about your panelists.
So I always feel like we were leaving the Big Hat Brunch in our fancy nice hats, and we were just leaving it at that. So we celebrated Esther's Closet, but I didn't know if people were actually walking away knowing what we do, who we serve, and what that looks like. So taking this opportunity to have a keynote and a panel.
Good. An amazing panel.
I'm so excited. So we're going to have our last year's Essence of Esther, Sabrina Wolf, and this year's Essence of Esther awardee, Mackenzie Olvera. She's over there at the Element. So excited for these ladies to be able to share their journey with Esther's Closet. And it's not your typical, like, I know a lot of people would think that these ladies are coming in unemployed, whereas we serve a lot of underemployed individuals who may have just gotten a promotion, who are just looking for a new opportunity in a newer space. And so that's really where we're trying to share that piece to make sure that people are understanding that sometimes we just need something new.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and of course, Esther's Closet still takes donations, right?
Course.
Tell them what the rules are on that.
Well, being that we're changing to our trying to truly focus on our workforce space, we've adjusted it just a tad. We are accepting seasonal donations, so we'll accept them 4 times a year. In those months, this is very new, so I don't know them all yet.
That's okay.
But we are still accepting things in. That we kind of had a need for in the boutique, because people are coming regularly, so sometimes we may need like a size 11 shoe or some 2X shirts, and so we're still putting those fillers out there for people to bring in things on a day-to-day basis as well. So we accept those on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 3.
Okay, and so, but you need to think in terms of seasonal. We're moving into the fall and winter already, and so you don't want a lot of sundresses.
Right. So we
you
try
don't
to
want
stay
a lot of sundresses anyway.
We try to stay in season as much as possible, and then really trying to think of things that people are wearing to work. So almost like if you wouldn't go and take it to a consignment shop, almost in that mindset.
Sure.
Like we want to make sure that it still has some life for the next individual. So that's something that we're trying to reiterate as well.
Right, and basic rules, no stains, no rips, no.
Right.
Right, because then your people have to just sort through and put in the trash. So, that's great. So, tell us about again the actual event. It's going to be in the Cashin room, Cashin building. I should know that. It's in the old Hank Hamer School of Business on the 5th floor. One of my favorite rooms on campus, in fact.
It has a great view.
It is so pretty.
View.
It is so pretty up there, and I was excited when I saw that's where it's going to be. But it's a nice size space. So, how many are you hoping for?
Well, we always are aiming for 250 in the room.
Yeah.
And I'll say this year, I'm really excited for the Big Hat Brunch because we're going to have an amazing area to walk. So the Big Hat Show Off, truly individuals who are ready to show off their hats. So get your big brims.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited about being there. Normally, I've got a conflict. I haven't been able to go, but I'm trying to arrange my schedule so I can get tickets. So how do I get tickets?
We on our website, syntexchamber.com, there's an Esther's Closet tab, and if you hover over it, there's a Women of Distinction Big Hat Brunch tab. And so we have all the information about our keynote, our lovely speakers. We have ticket information. All of that is provided there. On our Facebook page, we're posting daily on our Facebook and our Instagram, so links there can be found as well. Tickets are $75, and we're super excited, and we still have tons of room.
Oh, well, that's great.
And it's such a fun event. I've been 2 out of the last 3 years, and just the beautiful hats and the dresses, and even if you don't have a big hat, I have some friends who are like, I don't really want to wear a hat. I'm like, you don't have to wear a hat. But why not? It's such a fun fun
Wear a
time to do
fascinator
that.
then.
Exactly. Wear a headband. I mean, that really is fun too.
Yeah, wear a
Anything
headband.
goes. The bigger, the better. But if you
Yeah.
can't pull it off, that's fine. Just come and enjoy the moment and really learn more about supporting women in our community. It's the most important part of it.
Okay. Well, I mean, you mentioned thrifting, and we've already were talking about some favorite places we have to shop. You brought these hats for us today.
Yes.
Where did you find these?
So Esther's Closet actually has these available. But we are partnering with Penelope Pickers to ensure that ladies are able to go shop. She is located at Cooper & Co., 811 Wooded Acres, and you're looking for the big yellow doors.
And they have so many cute hats. We went last week. They had a kind of an open house.
I think I saw something on Facebook that you had a
Yes.
beautiful, it looked like something, you would wear to, I don't know, Kentucky Derby. or
Yes.
something.
Yeah, I felt very, very special in that hat. So, yeah, there are lots of
She
cute
has
hats.
plenty.
Beautiful. And lots of great clothes, too. So, if you're looking for a dress to wear or something unique, she has a lot of really neat finds.
How fun, how fun. Well, this is going to be great. Women of Distinction, Big Hat Brunch on August the 13th from 11 to 1. And thank you so much. I know you're going to be awesome, and you'll be moderating our panel discussion. Looking forward to hearing from those lovely ladies. And, just support this wonderful, wonderful event.
Yeah, we're great. Yeah, hope people show up. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Can't wait.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, and stay with us. We'll be back with more of the show.
Let's be honest. The hemp industry can get confusing with acronyms like CBD, CBG, and CBN. What is CBN? I'm glad you asked. While CBN is extracted from the hemp plant, it does not produce any psychoactive effects or high as seen from THC and is not habit-forming. At Slumber, we designed our entire product line around CBN because of its ability to help you fall asleep and stay asleep naturally. All of our CBN is sourced from Colorado-grown hemp and lab-tested. If you're new to CBN, give one of our sample packs a try. All of our products come with a 30-day guarantee, so you can sleep on it.
Registration for Waco Restaurant Week ends July 31st, today. All participating restaurants must register with a one-time fee, which will be donated to a local nonprofit. Each restaurant gets to keep 100% of the profits that they make during Restaurant Week. Don't miss out on the best culinary event of the year happening later in October. The to the park. The parents, Eleanor and Dane, are doing well, and zoo experts expect the baby Maasai draft to be visible to the public shortly. Follow their socials for baby updates, and be sure to visit once the little one is old enough, strong enough, and all settled in. You could do this once the Cameron Park Zoo brings you the 2025 Stampede on Saturday, November 8th. On race day, you can partake in a 1K, 5K, or 10K, hopping through the race like a red kangaroo, which will also be joining the zoo this fall. The Stampede sold out last year, so be sure to get your tickets and register today for the cheapest possible admission. I'm Elizabeth Riley with Act Locally News, and I'll see you next time.
Natural Cycles identifies your fertile window by analyzing changes in your temperature. It's the first FDA-cleared birth control app. No hormones, no side effects, and 93% effective with typical use, and 98% effective with perfect use. Just measure in the morning, add your temperature into the app, then learn which days you can and cannot get pregnant. It's that easy. Learn more at naturalcycles.com.
Thanks for being with us. Join me tomorrow when we hear from Van Davis about the Rockin' Luau with the Morticians. It's a dinner and dance that will be raising money for flood victims in the Hill Country. And we'll also learn about the Bell County Senior Expo. That's coming up tomorrow on The Ann Harder Show. Have a great day.